Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast. I'm Tyler from the Unemployed Architects. This week, I'm going to be talking about my shows. A couple weeks ago, I had Houdinis Spirits in LeRoy, and then I played at Jay's Place in Gibson City. So I'll talk a little bit about those shows, and then probably a lot about just everything that's going on right now. So with those shows, they were both pretty straightforward. It was just Dave and I for both of them. The first night, could not really catch my groove. It was quite as good as I would have liked. The second night turned out to be a lot of fun and a lot smoother and just sound better and more crowd interaction and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't really know what the difference was. I mean, I'm sure a little bit's in my head, a little bit, because, you know, I'm a crazy person, but I don't know, maybe I was tired, maybe I really just don't know. Maybe the sound really wasn't as good the first night as the second night, but, you know, it wasn't bad. It was just not as good as I would have liked, which I have a pretty high standard on that. And then Saturday night was like, I wish I would have known it was like the last show I was going to play in like a really long time. I might have even enjoyed it a little extra. It was like a St. Patty's Day kind of thing, and there was like a birthday, and space is a lot more opened, so it was like, and people were dancing, not quite from the get-go, but, you know, halfway or towards the end of our first set, there were people starting to get into it, and then by the end, people were really, there's probably 10 people up front just kind of grooving with us, and turned out to be a lot of fun, and I don't know, I just felt better that night. I've been coughing all day. I'm still coughing. I don't really know if it's allergies or coronavirus, or maybe I got like a head cold. I really don't know, but, you know, doing the social distancing thing regardless, it just doesn't seem to completely go away, which is weird. But I mean, during the show, I was drinking a lot of tea, throat coat tea, and, you know, so it wasn't cough drops and gum and all that stuff. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, so I don't really know. I've actually already recorded this podcast once, but I just feel like it was, after thinking about it for a little bit, because it was a shorter one, and I felt like I was just a little bit rushed and trying to get it done, as opposed to like really thinking about the stuff going on, and I don't know. So I just decided I'm just gonna re-record it, and then I kept pushing it back because I'm like trying to get these live stream things going. So that's been just a crazy process that it's because I'm an idiot, really. I mean, I don't know. I build things up too much in my head for no reason. So we spent like, you know, 4.5, 5 hours decorating this room for the live streams, and I did my first round. The first one I did on this iPad here, and then, you know, I was trying to think of cooler ways to do it, maybe better quality ways to do it, and so what I did was I have my JBL kind of sound system, you know, put a little volume through there so I could get my effects and, you know, have it be like a show, you know, not like just me playing acoustic, like practicing essentially, because I don't want to lose that, like, I want to stay sharp, ultimately, is what I'm trying to say. So, like, I want to pretend like it's an actual show, so that way, you know, I can, when I'm back to playing actual shows, which will hopefully be at some point, I won't be completely rusty. I'll have a good bass. So I just had the iPad pretty much, and I have this nice microphone that I'm using for this podcast, but it wasn't activating for the Facebook Live videos through the iPad for some reason, which was a little bit annoying. But anyway, so I was like, okay, well, got to figure this out. So I got my laptop, and I actually, the next night I did a simulcast. So I did both my YouTube and my Facebook Live with 2 different laptops. And with one of them I had a camera acting as the webcam, and then the other one I had this microphone that I could plug into it and pointed it at the sound system. And, ultimately just way worse quality in both video and audio somehow. So then a couple of friends of mine they're from Pontiac, but live out close to Denver, Donnie Sartoris and Ross Graves, they did a live performance, Facebook Live, and sounded really good. And I was like, well, how'd you guys do it? And they were telling me, we have an interface, and we plugged our mixer directly into the interface and selected that as being their audio. So then this whole last week I've been trying to do that, and I'm still coming up short on the quality. Like, I don't know. So I was doing it through like my wireless network, or my wireless Wi-Fi essentially, and so I decided to get the LAN or LAN connection, so that way I'd be wired into my modem router thing, and hopefully that would allow me to broadcast a better, because even with the mixer, even with the interface, it still was cutting out and not sounding quite as good. So I was like, well, that's got to be it, the bandwidth. There's something to do with not enough bandwidth, and I'm not getting as good a quality because of that. So I did that, and it took me and a buddy of mine, Steve Holcomb, whose job is in networking, so he could kind of help me through it. And of course, it was way harder. He said if you weren't in IT, there would have been no way to figure out how to make it work. But anyway, ultimately I figured out how to make it work, and so I'm running directly into the router modem and thinking that that's gonna upgrade the quality quite a bit, and still pretty much the same thing. So I'm just kind of at a loss, and ultimately it's just me overthinking everything, and probably should have just stuck with the iPad version the first way. I was just trying to improve, and it's not. I was pretty much back at square one, and I could have just been getting other things accomplished this last week instead of trying everything I possibly could think of to get that done. And coming up, probably empty-handed ultimately. It's just so weird because I've been at home for a full week. It's Friday today. Last week I was supposed to work on Saturday, but that was the first day that we closed for the, for the government calling everybody, the non-essential people and non-essential businesses to close. So we've been closed for a week. So it's like I have all this time to really focus on, my creative stuff and, put stuff out and maybe start recording stuff. And then because I'm so focused on this live streaming thing, for some reason that's all I've been really worried about, because I want to maintain the the live playing as much as possible. I don't want to get rusty on that. So like, it is important, but it's not the quality I'm wanting to get. And again, I don't know whether it's bandwidth. I do notice that my computer has been getting very hot, so maybe if I raise it off the desk and put a little fan on it, maybe it won't, because it's like I said, it's directly wired into my modem router, and I'm still having quality issues. But again, I could just use the iPad. I don't know why I'm getting so, and if I could use this microphone that I'm using for the podcast to mic the JBL, I probably would have been happier with the quality, but for some reason it's not letting me through the iPad. But that first stream I did, it sounded better than any one stream I've done since then. So I really just have no idea. I got all this gear, but no idea how to utilize it properly, I guess. for the technology side of things, I just have, like, I don't know much. I'm lucky, like I said, that I have a few friends. Steve Holcomb, like I said, who was helping me with the networking. Ross Grays was helping me with, like, the input kind of into the interface into the Facebook Live. But I don't know. I can't really figure it out. So I don't really. And it's like I'm gonna do a full set tonight, a full live stream, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. If it's even worth trying to use my laptop, or if I should just go back to the iPad. But anyway, so what it's causing is, I have all this time for these creative pursuits, and I'm just feeling guilty for not getting anything else done, because we're supposed to be off work till April 7th. So, I mean, I got another week, but I've already spent half the week trying to figure out the live stream. Bars and restaurants were closed. So, I mean, I had every Friday and Saturday booked through June. And now all of a sudden, my dance card is wide open. I have no shows for the foreseeable future because we don't know when the bars or restaurants are going to be back open. So everything just feels super weird, and I don't know. In some ways, it should be good. I should be able to get a lot more accomplished. But like I said, I've just mainly been feeling guilty for not getting enough accomplished, even though I've been trying to figure it out. And if I could just, get the live stream stuff set up like so it was working and sounding and looking good, then that would be set and I could start on the next task. But I just haven't really gotten comfortable with that quite yet, so I don't really know. I would like to get, some actual recordings done and maybe some more music videos, and everybody else just doesn't really care. I mean, they're just putting stuff, they're just going live on their cell phone. They aren't worried about quality. I don't know why I get so bent out of shape about stuff like this. I just want it to be, like, better than average, but, in doing all this, it's becoming not, I'm not putting out as much, and I'm not, still not better than average, so I'm probably worse than average. I think most people's iPhones capture sound better than the way I've been getting it, so I really have no idea, but super crazy what's going on. I mean, I don't know how this is ever gonna, if this is ever gonna end, really. I mean, it just seems to be getting worse and worse, and I don't know, it just seems like every day there's a new announcement about how, something's gonna be longer, or, now you can't do this, or, I don't know, it just seems nuts. Right now, I'm teaching remotely, so a few of my students that I had and was teaching, like, in person have agreed to try the Skype or Zoom version of me teaching, and that seemed to go okay. So at least I have a way to make income that way, and my job has been really good about, at least for the 2 weeks that we were just only supposed to be off, they're gonna pay us our full amount, which is amazing, really. But after that, I think they're gonna start losing so much money that they're gonna not be able to do that, and I'm gonna be struggling pretty hard. But I don't know, I'm just trying to figure it out, just like everybody else. The weird thing now is, like, there's so many live streams that I don't even know how I would even stand out. I mean, I think my room looks pretty cool, but I don't know. I got, like, maybe 13 to 20 people at one time the first time I did it, and the quality is degraded and people don't stick around, and everybody else is doing the same thing, so I feel like I lose people. But I mean, it's really cool from a listener perspective. I can see all my friends play and enjoy that. I watched Donnie and Ross, the Heroic Charade live stream, and they sounded amazing as ever. Like they didn't even skip a beat, It sounded so good. I've watched some Hot Sauce Universe, and they sound really, really good as well. And I don't know. I catch people here and there. I watched, there was this Dave Matthews live stream, and it was, for some reason, only available on Twitter, but I clicked on it, and it was pretty funny to watch, like, his uncomfortableness with doing what we are all doing. It's almost like he is as uncomfortable as I am when he was performing, because it's so weird to play, and then there's no crowd interaction, and there's no like feedback, and it's just it's kind of a weird. I mean, it's cool that we still have like a platform to perform and stuff like that, but it's a completely different experience, and it's completely awkward in a lot of ways. But yeah, I don't know. It's we're in a weird space right now, and we're all hoping that things will just return back to normal. But if the numbers that they're giving us are true at all, it just doesn't really seem like it's gonna be as quick as everybody's thinking. So, all us musicians are gonna be really, really struggling here soon, because the day jobs that we have aren't going to be open, and I don't know, they're talking about that stimulus check they might send, which that'll help us for a little while. It's just all a matter of time, really. I mean, if they send us that in a reasonable amount of time, and then everything opens back up, it's just this weird, like, you're in between. It almost feels like a vacation at this point, but in the back of your mind, in the back of my mind, I have this like anxiety that this might last long, and we might not get any money, and how is this gonna pan out, and I don't know. So it's been nice to distract myself, really, with trying to figure out this live stream stuff, but it's been frustrating too. But it's better than worrying about what is actually going on in society. It's just a weird time, strange times for sure. I don't really know what I don't know. I guess that part's not different. I don't really know what I should be focusing on, or I feel like I should definitely record some music pretty quick. I got, one acoustic track done that I told the guy that mixes and masters for me that if he has some time to maybe try and get that done, and I could get him some cash. But as soon as the cash runs out, it's pretty much just me and my iPad, I guess. I don't really, and then as far as where I'm living, and I don't know. I mean, maybe if I file my tax return, and so my state tax, my federal tax return, and I get the stimulus check, that would put me maybe 2 months of being able to sustain where I'm at. I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't really have an answer, and just a lot of questions, and a lot of like uncertainty. Everything's just a big question mark. So, just trying to breathe, really. But the music is making it a little bit more tolerable, like watching people and performing. But what I was saying with the Dave thing too is like he seemed so uncomfortable doing it, and was like, he kept asking, is anybody, I can't tell if I'm talking too much, or if it's even sounding good. He had no idea whether, and that's been partially why I've been spending a lot more time, even though he has probably professional people, doing his sound and his audio, his video, all that, to make it look and sound great. And he really did. His vocals just sounded so good. But it's just a weird thing. I don't really know. I need to be putting out like this, like I said, the podcast I should have put out probably last week, but I've just been so focused on getting that other thing done that I'm like, oh, I have all day tomorrow, I can just do it. And then I say that again, and there's no deadlines on anything, so you can take as little or as much time as you want, but that is a double-edged sword, because I get caught in this place where I'm not putting anything out because I think I have all this time. But who really knows, you know? I don't know. Anyway, I'm hoping that we get some good news here soon, and everything gets more back in a normal place. I don't think it'll be exactly the same, but it'll be baby steps. Like maybe we'll go back to work, but still bars and restaurants will be closed. But again, I don't know. I've been hearing might be 6 months. Who knows? Big questions, big question marks. Anyway, so that's my check-in. This is a lot more in-depth than the last one I recorded and I'm not going to release that one. It just was, and that's how I felt in that moment of recording it. So, I mean, it's not like invalid, but I just feel like it didn't do justice to the state we're in. And I was just frantically trying to get it done as opposed to, taking my time and really thinking about the stuff going on and analyzing what I'm doing. And anyway, I think I just overthink things way too much. I should just use my iPad, just play acoustic guitar, and that would be probably just as good or better than what I've been doing. But just overthinking it. Anyway, so I'll be talking about the live stream adventures probably next week, and maybe we'll get more news on stuff. Again, I got to give a shout out to Donnie Sartoris and Ross Graves for the Heroic Charade. Their live performance on Facebook was very, very good. If you get a chance, go check that out. And I've been listening to Hot Sauce Universe's According to Lore and been really impressed with that. I listened to it, and it's a live performance, but if they wouldn't told me that, I don't know that I would have guessed it was a live performance. It's just his guitar playing is his guitar playing is like just so good, and then her singing is just like pitch perfect. I mean, without a lot of effects. I mean, on the guitar, I think Jay uses quite a bit, but just the right amount in good ways. And then her vocals, like, just a touch of reverb, and it just every note just sounds really, really nice. And you forget that it's even live, which is crazy. And she's doing the hand percussion while they're playing, and I think that even sounds very on beat and very, I don't know, just everything about that performance seemed really, really good. So shout out to Hot Sauce Universe for killing their live performance. All right, well, that's all for this week. Anybody who took the time to listen, I appreciate it, and I will talk to you next week. Have a good one.